There comes a point in life when you realize exhaustion is not coming from work, not from pressure, not even from failure. It's coming from people. Some people drain your focus every time they speak. Some quietly weaken your confidence. Some keep you attached to old habits, old pain, old versions of yourself. And the dangerous part is, most of them don't look toxic at first. They look familiar, comfortable, normal. Stoicism teaches something most people avoid accepting. Peace is not only built by discipline, it is also built by distance. Not every relationship deserves access to your energy. And sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is leave quietly. Here are 10 people you need to quietly remove from your life. Person 1, the constant critic. Some people never clap for you, not because you are failing, because your growth irritates them. You tell them about a new opportunity, and they immediately point out the risk. You make progress, and somehow they reduce it to nothing special. After a while, you stop feeling excited around them. You start filtering your words, second-guessing your ideas, hiding your ambitions before they can tear them apart. That is what constant criticism does. It slowly trains your mind to expect disappointment from yourself. And the worst part? They often call it honesty. But honesty should bring clarity, not insecurity. Stoicism teaches distance from unnecessary negativity. Not every opinion deserves access to your confidence. So stop explaining your dreams to people committed to misunderstanding them. Move quietly. Build privately. Because eventually, the voice around you becomes the voice inside you. Person 2, the manipulator. Manipulators rarely look dangerous in the beginning. They usually look caring, calm, understanding. That's why people miss the signs. At first, they make you feel important. Then, slowly, they make you feel guilty for having boundaries. You say no once, and suddenly you feel like a bad person. You express frustration, and somehow the conversation turns into your fault. Over time, you stop speaking freely around them. You start calculating your words, managing their emotions, trying to avoid conflict before it even happens. That is not peace. That is psychological exhaustion. Stoicism teaches emotional control, but it also teaches awareness. Not everyone deserves emotional access to you. The strongest response to manipulation is not anger. It is detachment. Stop over-explaining. Stop defending every decision. Some people only have power because you keep reacting to them. The moment you become emotionally unavailable to manipulation, their control begins to disappear. Person 3, the gossip carrier. Be careful around people who always arrive carrying someone else's story. Today, they whisper about another person. Tomorrow, your name becomes the conversation. The gossip carrier survives on information, not wisdom, not loyalty. Information. At first, it feels harmless, even entertaining. You listen to the drama. You laugh at the details. You feel included. But slowly, something changes. You begin to realize they treat private conversations like social currency. Nothing stays protected around them. One day, someone repeats something you told in confidence. Your stomach drops, and suddenly, everything makes sense. Stoicism teaches restraint. Not every thought needs to be shared. Not every person deserves access to your inner life. So become quieter, more observant, more intentional with your words. Because peace grows faster when fewer people have access to your personal world. Person 4, the one who makes you doubt yourself. There are people who never directly tell you that you are weak. They do something more subtle. They make you question your own instincts. Before them, you moved naturally. You trusted your decisions. You took risks without needing permission from everyone around you. Then slowly, things changed. Every idea became a debate. Every decision felt too risky. Every goal was met with hesitation instead of belief. After enough exposure, you stop trusting yourself. You overthink simple choices. You wait for validation before taking action. That is how confidence disappears. Not in one moment, but through repeated doubt. Stoicism teaches self-trust. A calm mind does not constantly ask the world for approval. So, pay attention to how you feel around certain people. The right people bring clarity. The wrong ones create confusion. And sometimes your confidence does not need motivation. It simply needs distance from the voices weakening it. Person 5, the comfort zone keeper. Not everyone around you wants you to fail, but many people feel uncomfortable when you begin to change. The comfort zone keeper usually sounds harmless. Why are you working so hard? You used to be more fun. You've changed. What they really mean is this: your growth no longer matches the version of you they were comfortable with. When you start becoming disciplined, focused, and intentional, it disrupts familiar dynamics. Your ambition reminds them of their own stagnation. Your progress quietly exposes their excuses. So, they try to pull you back toward comfort. Not aggressively, just consistently. Late nights, old habits, endless distractions. Stoicism teaches that growth requires sacrifice. You cannot evolve while constantly returning to environments that reward mediocrity. Sometimes the next version of your life requires leaving behind people who only loved the smaller version of you. Growth is lonely for a while, but staying stagnant is worse. Person 6, the excuse maker. The excuse maker always has a reason. The timing is wrong. They are too tired, too stressed, too busy, too unlucky. And after listening long enough, you start thinking the same way. That is the danger. Excuses spread quietly, not through pressure, but through normalization. You skip one workout because they skipped theirs. You delay one goal because they convinced you there's no rush. Slowly, your standards begin to soften. Stoicism teaches responsibility, not perfection. Responsibility. Life will never become easier through explanation alone. Results come from action, especially when action feels inconvenient. The excuse maker avoids discomfort so often that comfort becomes their prison. Do not let that mindset become yours. You do not need to argue with them. You do not need to judge them. Just separate yourself from environments where procrastination feels normal, because eventually your habits become your future, and excuses have never built anything meaningful. Person 7, the time waster. Some people do not destroy your life through conflict. They destroy it through distraction. Every time you sit with them, hours disappear. You plan to work on your goals, to study, to build something meaningful. But somehow the day ends in random conversations, scrolling, complaining, or doing nothing that actually moves your life forward. And because it feels comfortable, you don't notice the damage immediately. That is what makes the time waster dangerous. There is no drama, no obvious toxicity, just slow stagnation. Stoicism teaches awareness of time because time is the only thing you never get back. Most people think their future is ruined by one big mistake. Usually, it is ruined by small daily distractions repeated for years. You do not need to cut everyone off, but you must become more protective of your hours, because your habits create your future, and your future is built from what repeatedly steals your attention. Person 8, the one who doesn't respect your growth. There are people who become uncomfortable the moment you begin improving yourself. Not because you hurt them, because your growth reminds them of their own lack of discipline. You start waking up earlier, taking your goals seriously, protecting your energy, and suddenly the jokes begin. You're doing too much. It's not that serious. You've changed. At first, you laugh with them, but eventually, you notice something deeper. They only support the version of you that required less from yourself. Stoicism teaches that growth requires separation from environments that reward mediocrity. If you constantly shrink your ambition just to make others comfortable, you will slowly betray your own potential. The right people respect your evolution. They do not mock it. So stop apologizing for becoming disciplined. Stop explaining why you want more from life. Some people lose access to you simply because you stopped living beneath your potential. Person 9. The drama magnet. Some people carry chaos the way others carry peace. Wherever they go, conflict follows. There is always a problem. Always tension. Always another emotional emergency demanding attention. At first, it feels exciting. Intense conversations. Constant stories. Endless emotional movement. But after a while, you realize something. Your mind never fully relaxes around them. You begin expecting stress before it even arrives. Your nervous system stays alert. Your peace slowly disappears. The drama magnet survives on reaction. Calm feels boring to them, so chaos becomes their normal state. Stoicism teaches emotional control, not emotional addiction. You do not need to attend every conflict you are invited into. You do not need to solve every emotional storm around you. Sometimes maturity looks like silence, distance, non-reaction, because a peaceful life cannot grow in an environment addicted to chaos. And protecting your peace is not weakness. It is wisdom. Person 10. The one you've outgrown. Not every person you leave behind was toxic. Some people were simply connected to a version of you that no longer exists. That is what makes this one difficult. There is no betrayal, no big argument, no dramatic ending. Just a quiet realization that the connection no longer fits your direction. You begin thinking differently. Your priorities change. Your standards rise. You become more intentional with your time, energy, and future. Meanwhile, some relationships remain attached to old habits, old conversations, old versions of yourself. And eventually, staying connected starts feeling more exhausting than fulfilling. Stoicism teaches acceptance. Not everything is meant to last forever. Some people are chapters, not destinations. Outgrowing someone does not make you arrogant. It means you are evolving. So stop forcing alignment where growth has already created distance. You do not need guilt for changing. Sometimes maturity means appreciating the past while no longer living inside it. At some point, you stop trying to save every relationship. You stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stop chasing connection at the cost of your peace. And that changes everything. Stoicism is not about becoming cold. It is about becoming clear. Clear about who drains your energy. Clear about what destroys your focus. Clear about which environments slowly pull you away from the person you are trying to become. Not every goodbye needs an announcement. Not every exit needs closure. Sometimes healing looks like shorter conversations, delayed replies, more silence, more distance, more respect for your own mind. The strongest people are not always loud. Often, they simply become unavailable to chaos. So protect your peace carefully. Guard your attention. Choose your circle wisely, because your life changes the moment you stop giving unlimited access to what keeps destroying your spirit, quietly.